All right. Ah, should be streaming now. Again. Ah. So, super stable power grid. Super stable. All right, folks. We're going to try and finish this out. We're so damn close, I'm certain. We're so damn close. I'll go ahead and just be editing the titles of these streams real quick. I doubt anybody's got the patience to come back in, so we'll just try and finish it out here as quick as I can. Um, Just unfortunate I chose this time. Right? Right, Lesbar? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, so I called the electric company finally, and they're like, oh, they're working in the area. And I'm like, okay, how much longer? And they're like, oh, we don't know. Okay. Thank you for your cooperative. Blah, blah. So, uh, I'm just gonna try and finish this out. I think we're damn close. You didn't talk about it for very long, so we're just gonna try and finish it on out. It's not your fault that you're too powerful, Elias Bar. It's not your fault at all. But we're close. We're close to finishing this on out. Hopefully, you being in the chat right now doesn't cause it to crash. But I was gonna make sure I have these all set up title wise. Okay, so now I can do part 4. I'm totally gonna download all these videos, edit them together to one big video, but nobody watches those, but still I'm gonna do it. Good practice and all of that fun stuff. All right, so this is part 4. Part 4, trying to get the stream done. All right, let's just hop into it. Let's see if this is where we're at. I don't even remember what I was talking about. It took so long, so we'll just hop into it and leave after that. Maybe these power outs should be taken as a sign from above, right? To shut up. But I don't shut up. All right, there we go. Or to not continue the stream. Nah. If anything, it's a challenge.
What was it?
Oh shit! I need to have these on to hear you talk. So let me do that. And we'll just try and finish this. We're damn close. We're damn close to finishing it. Every time Bar enters the stream, the power goes out. He's too powerful. He's dangerous. You're not the only one who noticed, huh? You're not the only one. No, I didn't really notice that. Bar brought it up, though. I'm like, oh, that's funny. So, no, we're going to try and finish this now. I only get about 20 minutes before they cut it off again.
It's just 13,000 even.
There you go. Okay.
I don't remember what it was exactly that your goal was, but if you want to get that money,
you got to go out and get that money.
Get that money.
No question.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You know exactly what I'm saying.
I do.
Or here's option 3 for you. You put some sex appeal.
That's where we were at. And I was talking about that.
Here. What do we have? We got a totem with a dude on it. We got a car driving. We had a guy sitting with a giant robot right behind him. And then down here we got a guy on a motorcycle with robot horses and like the Joker. Like you look over here, there's a giant.
Yeah, that wasn't my art direction. To be fair, I wouldn't have done the clown face myself.
Is this really?
It works for the layers we were trying to convey, but yeah.
Let's pop over to a book that kind of came out of nowhere, and let's see what it's got going on.
Tits, which is what Elias Bar also focused on, even though the book itself doesn't have much to do with it.
The book was
attractive lady, which is not my selling point.
Right on the cover of the book. Okay, you're like, yeah, well that's just Tyler's campaign. That's just Tyler's campaign.
No, it's not just Tyler's campaign. It is, if you go to Kickstarter or you go to Indiegogo, sex appeal, selling a bad girl. It's usually what it is. It's massive. I hate those books. It's not my thing. Like, I rarely back. In fact, I don't think I've backed any bad girl book except for Niobe a long time ago because it had a rags cover. Right? And Regina is a bad girl, but the sex appeal wasn't sold in the story. The whole point of the beautiful body being in there was actually more to convey vulnerability than look at this pretty lady. No matter how stale it gets, because it makes me laugh. Maybe these power hours should be taken. Interesting. I'm not sure I got what you're saying there, Lesbo. But I get it. Totally. I think then you get into variant covers, and that is definitely a consideration. I hate the idea of it, right, personally, but I also found that many of our backers this campaign were willing to spend more than I thought in some circumstances, and so that's another avenue on which to deliver content that people would like, even if it's not for me, right? Um, so IronVerse Comics, in particular, like Hex Coyote, he built a little bit of sex appeal into his work because that's something he enjoys, right? It's still not the main character; it's not the focus of the book, right? He was able to have his cake and eat it too with that work. Um, with mine, though, like, be very hard to build that in with the topics I'm dealing with, which are more esoteric and thought based than based in the material world and its concerns. Um, but nonetheless, yes, like I would say upwards of 60% of comic campaigns and probably more of successful comic campaigns have that sex appeal either built into the story, built into the covers, or they're dealing with sexual issues, such, pride issues and those kind of things, right? Um, it's not what we're doing. Uh, I've done the best I can to do a little bit to appease that audience. Jack Irons came out of nowhere. It wasn't my idea. Uh, and so I'm willing to push that a little further, but I don't know in which way yet, right? And I'm lucked out, with this campaign funding, I have more time to figure these kind of things out. But yeah, sex appeal is a tough one. With my work in IronVerse Comics, not everybody's work in IronVerse Comics, but mine in particular. I mean, Jack's even an asexual character. Like it's not a concern of his whatsoever. But within business, within the comics business, which is mainly sold to males, and in crowdfunding, which is mainly sold to adult males, sexuality and sexy ladies is a very palatable concern. Apparently, and honestly, particularly towards nerds, right? We still going? Yeah, we're almost done. We got to be. I think this is the last point Elias Barr makes, which is on sex appeal. So we're almost there. Elias Barr says he hates variant covers, but it seems to be a necessary evil. I hate them as well, as you can tell. Those three covers that you talked about, where it's just kind of these basic things. So there's a lot more symbology to those covers than you glossed over. That matters to me and matters to the team, but I get it from a consumer standpoint or whatever. Yeah, there's I think they look great. I would pick up this comic. I'm making the comic I want. But that can only go so far for continued success. And I don't want to scrape by either, but if that's the way that the work needs to be done for me to have my heart in it, then I will continue to do that. But I think there's a way to win, like not have to compromise everywhere, in a lot of different angles. So yeah, let's finish this out. We're almost done.
Campaign. That can't be every campaign, can it?
It is basically every campaign.
Well, let's go back several years in time. All right.
No, it really
Let's see
is.
what this campaign did. Let's see. They raised $230,000. Now, granted, Brian Polito has been making comic
I
books.
don't like Brian Polito's work personally. Again, he's made his bones off of Bad Girl Comics. Um, it doesn't mean I don't respect it. Not at all. I fucking respect the hell out of it. His ability to keep the machine rolling, it's great. And if these are the comics he wants to make, excellent. My work doesn't function on that, and it sucks. But like that's the bit, right? Like I'm not a super horny dude. I'm sorry, I'm not. Like that's not my spectrum. If we're going towards that spectrum of life, mine is emotional connection to another person, and then the physical expression, the attraction, is part of that. Whereas like, oh, pretty girl, that's it's not. It doesn't interest me. Uh, but for other folks, I get it, and for nerds, like I'm saying, I get it. Um, but as Tyler said, if you're not making Um, no money, no mission. Exactly. No, that's so true. Like, if you don't have the finances, you can't do the job. Exactly, Lesbar. I am 100% on board with you there. And that's why I wanted to, like, honor your concerns here as best I can, right? Like, I'm doing my best not to degrade them because they are honest and very, like, they exist. This isn't like something like somebody looking at this project and saying they can do it better. That's not where you're coming from at all. I 100% see that. You're coming from, like, these are weaknesses and holes and things. I want to see you succeed. Here are some of the thoughts I've had on them, on that goal, right? Not only is that fair, but our work is built on that communication um, between myself, between the team, between our fans and supporters. Like, it's built on that. And if I don't recognize that and I don't take those concerns to heart, even if I don't have a pathway that I can get to there right away, then still I'm doing this wrong, right? So that's my point here. Woot. Hi, Jeremy. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for your help during the campaign, brother. I'm so grateful for it. Thank you, thank you. Scott K, you didn't want your project to inflate the budget on Jack 4. And that's part of it, right? Like, you and Cactus, honestly, are just lending your energy to it. You're not even asking for anything in return, which is insanity. The best I can do, of course, is the marketing and all of that fun stuff. But even that's, like, for me, that's nothing. That's what I'm already going to be doing. so, so really, I'm truly honored, Scott. Thank you. Bonk, yes, horny Bonk. You literally had never seen what Cody looks like until now. Really? Man, I've been on camera for a long time. At least I think I'm looking better today than I usually do. So there you go. Scott, you're still an enigma. Yes, you're an enigma to me as well, Scott. To be fair, I know a dollar does, but from way, 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 way back when I met him. You can compromise on preferences, but you should not compromise on principles. Yes, that's the bit. If you stick to your principles, then you'll keep coming back. That's the bit, right? Mr. Ernst, thank you for continuously stopping by through all my stumbles here on this particular stream. But, like, overall, there's many stumbles. But on this particular set of streams, we're on part 4 now because of the dang power outages. Um, so, yeah, that's the bit, right? Like, there's so far I'm willing to compromise and adapt to survive. And if the survival requires a compromise I'm not willing to make, then it's gonna go. It's just how it is, right? Like, there's a very specific mission I'm on, a very specific message I'm on, and I'm willing to kick up a circus and I'm willing to perform so far. And there's a certain amount of compromise it can make in the presentation of the product to help it succeed. But there's just some things integral to what I'm doing that just can't be compromised on. And so it's tough. This has been a learning journey since day one, 16 years ago, right? And it's never stopped and never will stop being a learning journey. And so I'm trying to figure out, this shouldn't the key to this, making this work, right, is not being this underdog last 10 minutes thing. Like, it works, it functions that way, but that means it's duct taped together, right? Like, it's not a stable thing. And our supporters, our fans, our team, and myself deserve stability in doing this work. And the fact that I have not figured out or found a pathway towards that stability is, I'm not gonna call it a problem, but it's like the major challenge of the work overall. Like, it is the biggest problem that we face. It's the biggest it's the biggest structural hurdle that needs to be overcome. And this is addressing, like, dude, you need to overcome that. And that is so true. That is so, so very true. And not only is this wonderful individual providing those concerns, but he's providing thoughts on how to address those concerns. And that is always appreciated because I only have so much energy, effort, and ability to think within space time, right? Like that others actually taking the time to try and figure that out as well is again a wonderful gift that I need to honor however I can. Schmeling is back. 2 coffees later. Well, welcome, welcome. I can't believe you folks keep coming back with all these stops and starts. Like I am so grateful for your persistence. Again, this might go out at any time, so just don't worry. We're gonna finish this on Alex talking about Brian Polito, who has a completely different vibe to the work I'm presenting. Like he just puts out fun comics, as far as I'm aware. He just puts out fun, sexy comics. I'm trying to put out a very specific message in the best presentation I can for myself and for the team. Um, I don't really have that much interest in just creating fun comics myself, which sucks, but and I can do it. I've done it. In fact, there's going to be something coming out hopefully this year. It should be attached to El Crudo 5 if folks are back in that. That is just me putting out a fun little comic. But like that's not, again, Jack as a character it's an asexual character, so like you shouldn't expect romance plots, you shouldn't expect that kind of thing from Jack itself. And so Jackie has been this wonderful way to at least put some of that into the work without having to compromise the work. And so there's other ways to approach that through the medium of Jackie that I'm going to have to think about.
For 20 years or whatever, 30 years.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's
yes,
got
he
brand
does.
recognition.
He knows
you know
what
why
he's
people
doing.
buy Lady Death? Because you can scroll down here, and eventually you get some appeal. There's some eye candy right
yeah,
here.
and that's not my thing, and it's not
If you want to
Maxie's
sell your
thing.
book, man,
Like he doesn't draw sexy
you got to give
ladies.
the people what they want, and the people overwhelmingly seem to want eye candy,
Yep.
not this. You know, if you had a variant cover with Jacqueline Irons or Jackie Irons or whatever her name is, right there,
So we sold
you
$35 posters this campaign of Jackie.
you probably would have sold a bunch of those variant covers. And Lord help me, as much as I hate variant covers, that is like the number one way to raise money in crowdfunding comic books is to have variant covers.
I hate it. I
You
hate it
know,
so much, and it raises printing
you
costs
had those misprint
extraordinarily.
books. Like you probably could have done more to say, hey, these are like misprints and they could be valuable one day, or just print up a stack of like 50 Illustrator Monk Jackie Irons covers. Like
I've
just
thought
do it.
about that. Like
Do it.
that's not a bad idea
All
at
right,
all, Bar.
that's enough of that.
There we go. Okay, so that covers that. All right, thank you so much, Bar. Really. So that is 100% a consideration. Even this campaign, I can add a perk that does that. Printing 50 comics is very possible. Right now, we're looking at printing 350 copies of issue 4 this campaign. Of course, the issues 1 through 3 are already printed, which is nice. These misprints, like nobody was interested in them. That's why I haven't been pushing them. We don't have collectors so much. We have one really big, again, our pixel jiggliness, right? We have one massive supporter who buys like everything on the campaign page if possible. I don't know if there's a collector, he just really wants to support our work. It's probably a mix of both. But like the collector's market doesn't seem to be what I'm able to market to. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that some folks aren't there, but we have one person who's interested in that sort of aspect that I'm aware of. We did sell 3 of those figures. That's insane. It's the same amount of figures I sold last go. We sold the original pages. As this campaign stays in demand, we might actually add more original pages as we go. Help myself and Maxie out quite a bit. That collector spectrum, that was one of the first times we've been able to address that particular market, and it did really well. I mean, it's not like we charged quite a bit and people came in and paid that, right? So that is an aspect of collecting that I think we can do better on, especially since Maxie does all of this, 98% traditional. He does clean up digitally, and sometimes he'll adjust something or double up a character. In this case, like a our cyborg horses, right? They're supposed to be twins anyway, so he's able to do that. Um, but and then of course, yes, the sex appeal. Again, I do, and I have tried to market through that. The Illustrator Monk pieces always get the most attention. To be fair, Maxi's issue, page 4 of this issue, got as much, if not more, attention than some of those images. So people are interested in our particular expression of artistry without sex appeal, but it is very different. And as I kind of said earlier as well, depending on who we're marketing to, again, this other crowd that supposedly I can tap into via these larger personalities, which as far as I'm aware, I can't. Like, these people are aware of me. We've had interactions, and none of them have been positive on their spectrum towards me. None of them. So, that can change, right? People can change, people can adapt. But nonetheless, as far as I'm aware, like that's no go. Howdy, dollar coins. Howdy, howdy. Um, so we can adapt more in the sex appeal end. In fact, we will be with the Cactus Coyote Ash Cans coming with issue number 4. You just don't want me to leave free money. Exactly, exactly, and that's the thing, right? Um, doing these sketch cards, I wasn't gonna do those. Um, at all. Like, I was like, nobody wants my artwork. I'm a terrible artist. I really am. Like, I am. It's I'm super excited because I get to draw on stream and I get to do this, and people are gonna have to, be okay with it. But and it'll allow me to practice, and maybe I'll enjoy it quite a bit. But like, I didn't expect those to really sell. But I was like, it's some way I can show value and dedication to the work. So if they sell, they sell. It was another, as you said, free money on the table. It was a way to collect that wasn't there before I put it on there. Um, I think adding more traditional pages as in demand stays in, right? I think that will be pretty cool. I think that'll help as well. Um, and I will consider doing a Jackie Irons variant cover as this campaign goes on. Um, but at the end of the day, the work is very tough to communicate to comic crowds. Just overall, like, it looks good, so that's what communicates the best, right? Like, it has a very palatable stylistic choice that does convey the messages at the same time as being a cool looking comic. But Lasbar, I lost you in issue 2, right? Like, basically completely lost you in issue 2 because of the presentation. So I've adapted and learned with issue 3, and I've done more so with issue 4. But we won't know till that releases if that succeeded or not. And so until then, I have to kind of approach the work as something exceedingly niche and as something that needs to find its own path towards growth. And there's a lot of things to think about. Um, will the sketch cards be done in order? Yes. So in order of backing, yes, that's what I'm going to do. Um, so up to the first 52, Mrs. H is going to do one as well, right? So they'll double, and I won't ship them out until we kind of feel like we've hit a milestone and nobody else is backing it or whatever, and then I'll ship them out together. My hope is a couple people bought all 3 sketch cards. So my hope is I can get Illustrator Monk to ship all 5 to me. I can get Mrs. H to ship at least the bulk of what's going to be done to me, and then I can ship all the sketch cards out in one order together, right? From my end, from my spectrum. Um, if the book isn't done by then, or if it looks like the book will be done and will be fulfilled around then I might also then ship those to Wicked for fulfillment, and then you'll get everything together. But I think the sketch cards in particular, that consistent content, will be going up on Patreon, of course, and it'll be going just to Patreon, be private, and then the actual videos will then, for download and stuff, will go to the backers as soon as like that's done. I will live stream it, but I'm probably gonna, I might not even live stream it. I might just record it and just ramble, right? We'll see. We'll see how I want to approach that. But yes, my plan is to do them in order because I think that's the right way to handle this. We've had one individual back, and it's probably in order of, like, I would like to do it in order of the orders, but there's a good chance that like some people who order early don't get me the information of what card they want done before somebody else who does, right? So I'll have to figure that out as we go forward, but I'm going to do my best to do them in order, first come first serve. Douglas Ernst, these spheres of indie comics influence know who I am, yes, but many people want you to grovel for. Yes, I've directly been addressed about that. For their support before they give you any attention. It's best to succeed on your own terms. That's my hope, right? There is no other path that I've seen. However, like there's no meritocracy based path to finding these connections on larger platforms. Um, so that is 100% something that needs to be done. And I would love to build that platform myself because I've been building that platform myself the best I can, where I don't care what fucking flag you raise. I really don't give a shit. The only thing that's ever mattered to me is the individual soul to communicate, because that is the most beautiful expression of this reality we got right now. And when you add layer upon layer of identity towards group based identity, it becomes less and less interesting to me. um, People who care about art and storytelling support you because your love for the craft shines through in streams like this. Well, I hope so. I hope so, right? Like that's what's kept me going. But nonetheless, like if that takes forever to build or does not build, which it has been doing very slowly, um, if at all in some cases, um, then like is it feasible? Is it worth the energetic expenditure? Is it worth the effort? I believe so, and I'll keep doing it as long as it succeeds in this, again, scrappy way it does. But I would much prefer to have that stability, and I totally 100% believe there are paths towards that stability, even while holding on to, as you said, my principles and my actual love and heart in the craft I'm doing. I 100% think that's doable. It's just I have to get more creative about it, right? Um, Scott K, you think you're first then? Yes, I think you're first, and then there was another individual who requested Mrs. H and I were going to draw Luffy, and that'll be fun because it's a loose art style, right? I don't have to worry too much about the rubber boy. And then he also requested Chopper from Illustrator Monk, so that's cool. I like that we're getting some One Piece stuff because that's a huge the One Piece message that I've gotten consistently in enjoying that series is a very similar message to what Jack's putting out, and that gives me so much hope for the success of our series because One Piece was able to convey that as well and become One Piece, right? Become the legend it's become. So I think it's very doable. Uh, yeah, a lot. I do live. I am alive, Mrs. H. Somehow, this is going to be a 4-part stream, which bugs the hell out of me, and it might cut out anytime. Don't forget that. Like if I cut out again, I'll probably try and come in and say goodbye before I go to town and such. But yeah, we finished the main point of this, so I'm just kind of reiterating it and rethinking about it and interacting with you, lovely folks. We've actually consistently been getting more people into the stream the last, God, 6 or 7 streams, which has been incredible. I'm so grateful. Like I'm used to just streaming by myself. I'm just talking to myself, right? So it's really nice that folks actually do stop by and interact. Your electric company's groveling at your feet right now. Well, be nice, okay? We're a ragtag outfit in New Mexico who thinks that they could go 100% daytime solar and not have any problems up in the mountains. And I think it's possible, but man, we had so much infrastructure damage with that windstorm we had, God, a couple months ago. We had like, 50, 60, 70-year-old power poles and shit just ripped across. We had a crazy amount, but a lot of people's roofs and homes were fucking busted. So we're still recovering from that. I think we're taking the opportunity to try and revitalize it, but I don't know. I tend to believe people do the best they can with what they got, and sometimes that leads to not the best decisions, like myself in this work. At the same time, heart's in the right place, which matters a lot. It doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I think it matters a lot in whatever you're doing. Howdy, have you come down from the dude? To be honest, just Doug, there was no high. if I'm being honest. I was like, okay, the work needs to be done now. That was it. Like there was no like, oh my god, yay! Like I put on the performance during the finishing streams, right? I put on the happy face and the stoked. Because yeah, of course I get to make my books again. It's incredible. But like the work doesn't end. Like that was most definitely the that's the hardest hurdle of all of this is getting the funding and convincing people that we're worth their time and their support and then their patience. But at the same time, like the work isn't done yet. Like the highest high I get is when those folks actually have the books in hand. That's the one. That's the victory. This was just like, all right, initial hurdle done. We get to actually produce this. Getting art in will be the next biggest one for me. But the funding goal, like I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, okay, we hit just enough. So now I still have to save and I have to be very vigilant with my own personal monetary situation to make sure that everything like goes forward and such. It would be great if we make a couple more K on the campaign before we finish. I don't expect that. Like literally the incredible traction we got those last 2 days, it went poof as soon as we were funded, which is what I expected. And so, like, I don't expect to make any more on this, so I got to make sure I'm very vigilant in being able to get this out. And so like that necessary vigilance that killed any high I could have had on. Oh, woo, we're funded. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we're funded, but I got to make sure we can create still. um, yeah, the work never ends. Yes, indeed. Um, Jack is compelling as a character to you because he went through so many times in which things turned out the same dark way, yet he didn't give up. That's a true hero. That's guts as well, right? Like I try and take quite a bit from Berserk because of how Miura was able to convey those messages eventually. Um, but I'm never gonna take it as far as Miura did. Like he's like, this is as bad as things can get, and this guy could get through it. Like Jack, like I'm gonna imply that, but I'm never gonna take it to the same level. Issue number 5 is gonna be a hell of a thing. It is the most challenging script and writing endeavor I'm ever gonna probably have to undertake. Like because of what I'm addressing in issue 5 and how I'm addressing it. This one in particular is just like it's commenting on the outside experiences and influence society has on an individual. Issue 5 is that actual individual's soul and the weight of experience and the weight of space time and the weight of all of that culminating in an individual's head. It's a massive callback to issue number 1, but it the thematics I need to hit in issue 5 are very very heavy, and very very personal. And I'm super excited to write that. I'll probably start writing that this summer during production. But like it's going to be tough to hit. But if I can nail it, then it will be one of the most important things I've been able to do with any of this ever. Issue 4 like was a lot of fun and it was a great way to convey some things. Issue 5, if I fuck it up, I fuck up big time. If I get it right, though, that's the thing. If I can get it right, it might be a really, really, really good thing to have out in the world. Let's see. Drawn Talk, were you going to stream snipe your video from last night? You had it privated, and you can private it again now. We've talked about my end of it. Because Brian and he showed more of Rags 8 than they were comfortable with. But you can leave it available if you'd want. Okay. Plus, Brian's casual racism in it is going to get you banned off YouTube, right? Right. Exactly. Guts, Luffy. Yes, there's many who have those bits to it, right? The thing I resonate most with One Piece is that found family message that it has in there that he continuously harps on and just does it so beautifully. He fills a lot of time with a lot of other bullshit, right? Like he's had to put out 1,000 and change chapters of it, right? So there's a lot of bullshit. But at the same time, when he nails it, he fucking nails it. Oda. So good. Your character's somewhat similar. You like those themes a lot. You'll manage. I think so. But I don't want to just manage. I want to succeed, and I want to build a brand that fosters others to be able to succeed, and I want to provide a space in which folks feel welcome, engaged, and again, that found family bit, right? Like, it's super important. I don't need to be people's family, but I want, I don't need people to feel alone either, with these very, very, very difficult things we all have to deal with. Most of us keep in the back of our minds and ignore and continue forward because it's a lot easier to deal with that, but we can do better about, right? We could actually tackle together. That's the thing. All right, folks. Let me see how long has this one got held up. 35 minutes. My God, my power grid's just awesome. I'm glad it's held up 35 minutes. Um, that kind of covers most of what I needed to hit on. I do have to leave in about 10 minutes anyway, so thank you folks for your patience with my instability of internet and instability of projects. Like, thank you for your patience with my instability. Me as a person as well, I'm not always the most stable. I try not to be crazy about it, but I know I've failed on that a few times. I know I have. Um, Especially when like a core of something I do is or something that means something to me is possibly falling apart, which had happened the last couple weeks of this one. I was like, oh God, am I even gonna have a job here soon? Um, but luckily, so far it's good. We'll see how it ends, of course, but so far so good. Um, oh, okay, it's not this one that looks ugly. It's that one. But yeah, folks, I hope that like kind of shows, he addressed Mr. Elisbar. He addressed many things that needed to be addressed. Period. And so what I think I'm going to do, it sucks this was in 4 parts. So what I'm going to do is edit these together. I'm going to download all 4 of these, edit them together, upload that, and then I will be sending that to backers. So they kind of understand where this was coming from. I don't think that'll shake anybody's faith, but if it does, like, I can refund now, right? Like, that's not a problem. It's all part of the journey, and it's part of like what you invested in when you backed our book. So, like, I have no shame in any of it. Like, there's no shame in undertaking an endeavor and then you deciding that, you know what, that's not really for me because of this. But at the end of the day, I think most folks are going to be just fine with it. And it'll be an important extra bit. And again, I want people to feel involved. They don't need to feel like invested in terms of like emotionally and like that kind of thing. But if you tossed money to make this thing happen, your energy is why it happened, right? So I think every step of the way, every thought, and these kind of discussions are important, because this is not a very stable project. It's not. And that does need to change as soon as it's feasible, if it's feasible. And if it's not, I'll keep it hobbling as long as I can. But that sucks. So, what is it? There's another Miyamoto Musashi quote. I usually quote, there, you must understand there's more than one pathway up the mountain, and that is so true. But there's another one where rigidity is the pathway to defeat, fluidity is the pathway to victory. So always willing to adapt in here, because if I get stuck in a rut, then this whole thing could sink. If I get too dedicated in presenting something a very specific way, this whole thing could sink. The point is to live in the moment, and that moment's always going to be changing, right? So that was part of this as well. It's just to address those kind of things, right? Because again, there's a certain pride, there's a certain wonder to scraping it out last second. I think it's very bitchin'. I think it's a very cool, unique thing that Jack's been able to do twice now. But it's not a healthy thing. It doesn't show stability. It doesn't show growth. It doesn't show demand. It shows, of course, we asked more, so that showed growth. There are aspects of how it happened that show those things, but it itself, if you're looking at that aspect of funding last second, just shows a love and a pride for the work that we do and a willingness to take the gamble. But it shows that it's a gamble. It absolutely shows it's a massive gamble, and artistry's always a gamble, but there's ways to do it that are more respectful to how we've been doing our work than how we've been doing our work. So yeah, I hope that covers it, folks. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate your thoughts in chat this whole go. Appreciate you folks finding each of these live streams again. That's crazy. Like I probably wouldn't have unless I was really interested in what I was talking about. So I appreciate that. And whew, we got a lot to figure out. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Is there anything else important? Yeah, somebody asked if I'm leaving it in demand for a while. Yes, I'm leaving it in demand until we are at the printers or ready to go to printing. Um, we're just quoting Samurai now. When you're called to choose life and death, you must quickly choose death. I didn't know that one. And I think it means if you choose yeah. I think I get that one in that if you're forced into the corner and you don't want to kill somebody, uh, and you don't want to die, you're choosing death in that, well, I need to kill this guy or die myself. I think that's what that quote's saying. And that is a good quote. You either give your all, everything you can, or quickly choose death. Quickly make that choice and do it. Otherwise, a lot of problems could happen. And if you're choosing life and trying to survive and have your cake and eat it too, that could be very problematic. At least that's what I see in that quote. I could be very wrong. All right. So I guess I'll do this thing. You folks know it, but why not? It's part of the show, and we'll see if I can get through it before the power out is. The power outs, we'll just leave it there. Um, we beat the machine. We beat the machine. Machine was not sure if we'd make it or not, but we did it. Look at that curve. Crazy. Um, 13,952. If we make another $48, we'd match the lifetime earnings of issue number 3. That would be incredible. I'm not expecting it. Um, I would love to get another 200 backers, which would then succeed the amount of backers we've ever gotten before. If we can get 100, then that matches lifetime. It matches the amount of backers we had for issue 3 when it finished, which is kind of curious to me again. More people were willing to spend more this campaign, but we got less people on it, which that sucks. Um, and this is still live. If you folks are interested in sharing it, I'd be much appreciative, but don't worry about it. Um, the work has begun, right? The work has begun before this does. This all of it was part of it, but the actual production of Jack Irons issue number 4 is guaranteed now, and that is an incredible gift you folks gave us. And as always, I'll do my best to honor that gift and provide you with something really, really cool and unique. And I'll put the link in chat. It's just an exercise. It's basically what this is, because I know you folks have already, you either know or you've been checking it out. But it is what it is. And we'll see. I think more perks will appear during in demand. I'm not doing stretch goals, as far as I'm aware. I really wanted to do a second metal card, but if I put it at so the goal for that, if I was to do it, would be 15.5. And at that point, I'm still not making a profit to be worth sinking in that other 600 or so bucks to print the metal cards. And then it's probably another 200 bucks to ship them out, even if I ship them out with the sketch cards, which would probably be what I do. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do stretch goals. I really wish I could, but I don't have the confidence that they don't just add more, dig a hole, more than a celebrational new reason to pick up more cash. Um, I'll be thinking on it. That was part of what I was thinking about yesterday. Is like my original idea was, oh, I'll just wake up and I'll announce this stretch goal. That's what I'll do. Then I thought on it and I wasn't feeling that great, so I passed back out. Then I woke up and I thought on it. I'm like, I still don't think it's probably a smart idea. And so I just took yesterday to recover, clean the house. My house was a goddamn mess throughout those last 2 days. Um, and so from there we're gonna figure it out. But yeah, I do have to go. So as far as I'm wearing, no stretch goals, but there might be new perks, particularly traditional page perks. I think that would be very cool if we can sell some more of Maxie's pages just for him. I think that would be really cool. And maybe if he realizes that's like a venture for future issues, maybe we can work out something that lowers his page rate, because again, he is the largest investment in this project. Second largest is Steve. Um, then the third largest is printing, and then Vince on letters is fourth largest. If we're counting shipping, then shipping possibly goes above printing, and then printing, right, and then Vince. Um, and again, I'm not on that board. This is just something I love to do. It'd be nice to get on that board. It would be nice that this time could actually maybe become something that helps support me and my animal family as well. But at the end of the day, the work itself is far more important to me, and I'm okay. I'm taken care of, and I have a place to live. I have food on the table. I have food on for the animals. I have the bills taken care of, right? I'm okay. So that's all that really matters to me at the end of the day. If I'm okay and I can do this work and not make anything off of it, then I'm still fulfilled. Um, but they can't do that. This is their job. This is their profession. So as long as they're taken care of, like we're able to now, then I am happy to do this work. Anyway, folks, all right. That's the campaign. Link in chat. Share it around if you haven't already, which I know you folks have already. Like, sub, share, all that fun stuff on the YouTube channel. We hit 300 and change subs now, which is wonderful. Growing by the day, hopefully. We hit 7K followers on Twitter, which was incredible this campaign. Those were other small victories I was willing to live with if we had not succeeded in this endeavor, right? My plan B was running this on Kickstarter. I'm considering running a Kickstarter for a collected volume 1 of 1 through 3 in trade paperback form. That'd only be about a 5K Kickstarter to print and ship, which would be really cool. It'd be a 96-page book, printed and shipped trade paperback. Maybe we can get that Kickstarter crowd on as well and attract more eyes to it. And if they want issue number 4, they can go buy it in demand on GoGo. That's one of my thoughts, to kick up a little bit more energy while we're here. But at the same time, I know there's a stigma to folks running another campaign before a successful campaign funds. So I have to consider that as well. So a lot of things to consider, but I think I said this last campaign too. The number one thing that you folks bought us this go, besides the ability to do the work, is you bought time. That is a priceless thing in this whole thing, in existence. Like, time is priceless. So I really appreciate that. That's like amazing. All right, folks, I gotta get out of here. Appreciate you very much, and I'll catch you later on that rusty IronVerse Comics trail. Adios, amigos.